Oh my god, you guys, if this doesn't work this time, you're just not gonna get this video. This is the fourth time I've tried to film this. The fourth camera I've tried to use. All my batteries keep dying. If my kids don't leave my cameras alone, or at least start charging them when they're finished, I swear. I was looking at my subscriptions on YouTube, and everybody's doing like a May roundup of what they read, and I thought that was a great idea. So this video is basically going to be a roundup, like, post of what I read during the month of May. So let's get started. The first book I read during the month of May was The Body Finder. It is by Kimberly Durting. It was okay. I think, had I not just finished reading another series, this book is about a girl that has the ability to find dead people. And I had just read the entire series, the HarperCollins series from Charlaine Harris, which is about the exact same thing. It's about a girl that has the ability to find dead people. I think had I not just read that whole series, which isn't YA, it's adult, if I hadn't just read that and then read this, I probably would have liked it a whole lot more. But I did. That doesn't mean this is a bad book. It just means compared to the Charlaine Harris series, I didn't think it was anywhere near as good. But this was a good book. It was good enough that the sequel is either just came out or is fixing to come out. It's called Desires of the Dead. It looks just like this, only it has a pink flower instead of a blue one. This book was good enough that I am going to pick up the sequel to kind of see where the author takes the story, because I think it's a very interesting premise. I mean, the only reason I didn't totally love this is because I had just read the whole series from a different author. So yeah, it's The Body Finder. It's by Kimberly Durting. I think this is a debut novel. I'm not positive. But you should pick it up and give it a read, especially if you haven't already read that other series, because it is a pretty good book. The next book I read in May was Paranormal City by Kristen White. I loved this book. This book is crazy. The main character, Evie, she works for like this secret government agency that goes around and they neutralize vampires and werewolves, and I don't know, if it's paranormal, it's pretty much in this book. There's mermaids and fairies, and then the thing you really don't know what it is, water spirits. Everything is in this book. There's action in it. There's even a little bit of romance for you weirdos that like, love stories. The sequel is coming out. I want to say it's coming out in like a couple of months, but I might be totally wrong on that. It's called Supernaturally. I cannot wait for the sequel to come out because I loved this book. Like, read it in a day, loved. So if you haven't read Paranormal City yet, I say pick it up. And then it is YA, but like I really liked it. So yeah. The next book I read during the month of May was The Replacement by Brenna Yovanoff. I loved it. The Replacement basically is about this boy that finds out that he's not really who he thought he was. He was the replacement for the underworld. Is called Mayhem, which totally cracked me up because that insurance commercial with the guy that's always doing bad stuff to people's cars, his character's name in those commercials is Mayhem. So every time they would mention the underworld of Mayhem in this book, I was just bust out laughing because that I'm just a hot chick out jogging commercial. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, so the boy, I don't know, he just wants to be normal, and God love it, and his friend is awesome, and the girl is awesome, and the scary is awesome. There's a bad guy in this book called the Cutter, and I don't know if you've seen the Hellraiser movies, the way they describe the Cutter, in Hellraiser there's a dude with like these gashes across his face and he has these little pins in him, called Pinhead. The Cutter is like Pinhead minus the pins, but for some reason, like, the Cutter he creeped me out. Look, I've got goosebumps just thinking about it. The Cutter creeps me out like the Tall Man in Phantasm does, which if the Phantasm is a movie from like the 70s, and there's this big tall like mortician, and he don't even really do anything in the movie other than walk really slow and creepy, but they call him the Tall Man. He, like, the hair is literally standing up on the back of my neck. That is what the cutter did for me, and he's not even hardly in the book, hardly Emmy. But he was a freak, and I loved it. This boy, and he's a replacement, and then there's a love interest, and kids are missing, and he's just trying to save the kids. Never mind that his people are like the reason the kids are missing, and there's like a little knee-high, sharp tooth tattooed fairy freak in it, and dead people are walking, and I don't know. I thought this book was awesome. This was an overnight read for me, and I thought it was so good I made my best friend take it home. She also read it in one day and loved it. So Ms. Yovanoff, if you're watching this video, please write a sequel. I want another book. This wasn't enough for me. I want more. I want more. So if you don't pick up any other YA this year, go ahead and get The Replacement, because I mean, it was really good. The next book I read in May was Beastly. I have to say I didn't. This was not good for me. I did finish the book. It did not go in my DNF pile, which is good. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm tainted because I'm older, so I've had a lot more exposure to like the Beauty and the Beast fairy tale. One of my favorite TV shows from when I was in like middle school. Like, I don't know if you guys read like my Facebook or my blog for very long. You know how much I love Hellboy, and I'm just totally infatuated with Ron Perlman. Back when I was in like middle school, he was on a TV show. It might have even been called Beauty and the Beast, but he was the Beast, and he was just amazing. I think part of the reason I didn't like this book was because I've seen so many other adaptations of Beauty and the Beast, and I've read so much other stuff about it, which I get. This was Beast when he was in high school or whatever, but I just thought it was really boring. The only like good parts of this book for me were he's lonely, so at different parts of the book he logs onto the internet and he goes to these chat rooms for people that have been changed, and they're really funny. There's a prince that's been turned into a frog that's in there. There's one that's called Grizzly Guy, and I think he's a werewolf. And then the Silent Maid, which I had read. I was like, why do I feel like I know who that is? I know who it is. And then it dawned on me, duh, it's Ariel from The Little Mermaid. Come on now. I mean, the chat sessions were really good. I could read a whole book of just the chat sessions. The rest of it, but that was Beastly, and I'm not even going to bother to try to watch the movie because the book for me just didn't do it. Another book I had read this month, but I don't have it because it was a library loan, I've already took it back, was called The Book Without Words. It is a fable of medieval magic is what the tagline is. It wasn't very good. Our library, actually, the children's section and the YA section are combined, so you really, you might be getting YA, you might be getting like a middle grade reader. I grabbed it on the way out of the library because the cover looked kind of awesome, and it wasn't very good for me. I don't know, maybe a 10 or 11-year-old that kind of likes scary stuff might like it, but it wasn't even scary. But I mean, it's about a guy that in medieval times everybody thought he could make gold, so everybody was trying to get his recipe for gold, but really what he was trying to whip up was a potion that would let him live forever. And in the potion it made these rocks, and he had to eat one rock at a time, and he was going to end up killing a girl, and there was a talking crow, and there was a whole lot of stuff going on that I didn't feel like was fleshed out. I don't know. I mean, the style of writing was okay. I just feel like the book was too small for the content, like they didn't flesh it out enough. I don't think I would recommend it to anybody. I don't know, maybe like a 10 or 11-year-old, maybe. I don't know. The last book I read in the month of May that I completed was The Fat Kid's Wolfie Revenge, Not for the Weak-Hearted or Mature-Minded. This is by Christian J. Hansen. He actually sent it to me for review, and he signed it for me. Thank you, Christian. If you read my review on Goodreads, you're going to automatically think that I did not like the book. That is wrong. I actually really like the book, like laughed out loud like the book. My problem is there is so much language, which I can handle cussing. I'm a grown-up, it's okay, but at a point it becomes too much. You don't have to have the F-bomb 3 or 4 times every page. This story is only 120 pages long. Literally, like, every chapter there's some kind of sex and so much cussing that you kind of start cringing a little bit at the cuss words. I get why the author did it. it is written from the viewpoint of a kid that's in high school that has witnessed a werewolf kill some people, so he starts a blog. Like, the chapter titles aren't even chapter titles. They are blog that says blog posts. So it's a kid writing on his blog. So I get why the language is there, I guess, but I never talked like that when I was a kid. I mean, I cuss, but I didn't cuss like that. I get why the writing style is what it is. Like, the sentences are crazy ass long, and everything is just kind of jumbled together. But that's how kids write. I think if he would have wrote it as a grown-up, I mean, it would have read like a grown-up was telling a story about a teen instead of a teen telling his own story, if that makes any sense. The reason that my review looked like it did is because when I post that I'm reading a book on Goodreads, I automatically have an update on my Facebook. And there are so many people on my Facebook. I think I have like 1,900 friends or something like that. Most of them are moms, and so when I post I'm reading something that looks like it might be for a kid, they actually start watching for the title, and sometimes they pick the title up for their kids. And this totally looks like a kid's book, and the title, Fat Kids Wolf for Revenge, it totally sounds like it would be for kids. So not for kids. Don't pick this up thinking you're getting a book for your kid. Like, literally, there's either sex, some kind of sex, talking about sex, or rape in just about every chapter. There's cussing in every chapter, and I don't mean just shit or damn. I mean the big words are... I can even handle the F-bomb to an extent, but GD is kind of a deal breaker for me. As much as, I think my son would probably enjoy this book, I'm not going to have him read it just because the language is like crazy. I don't think he should be reading stuff he wouldn't even hear. Like, he hears the F-bomb in our house all the time. I married a sailor, come on. There becomes a point when it feels like the cussing is not a necessity for the story, but more like a shock and awe, kind of. I mean, I know it sounds like I didn't like this book. I really did. It was really funny, and I'm so appreciative that the guy sent it to me to review, and I've been talking to him on Twitter, and he's so sweet. And he's fixing to put out another book, which I hope he'll send me that too. He said it's not got as much language in it, so that'll be great. And I do think, if you're not put off by a lot of sex or a lot of language, then pick it up, because I really did. I mean, I laughed out loud. I read usually at night when I'm going to bed, and the night I read this, my husband happened to already be down there asleep when I went down there, and I couldn't go to sleep yet, so I clicked the light on, and I was trying to lay there and read, but I kept laughing out loud, and he took the book away from me. So, and this is like the third book he's done that to me too. If I laugh, he takes them away. I think he's going to have to get his own room. But yeah, so this was the Fat Kids Wolf for Revenge. I know my review doesn't look like that I like the book, and I did like the book. I'm just so leery about telling people to pick it up because there's so much like visual explanations of sexual stuff happening, and the cuss words are so strong. Like, I don't know who I would feel comfortable recommending it to. It's almost like I feel naughty. Do you know what I mean? But it's really funny, so pick it up if you like that kind of stuff or whatever. But yeah, so here's hoping this video turns out, because Lord help me, I'm not going to be able to film this again. I hope you had a good Memorial weekend. Hope you have a fantastic week. Thanks for watching. See ya.